I was talking about when I was here 2 years ago that represented a challenge is that Canadian legal regulations prevented us from being able to receive the waste back in Canada. Even though it originally came from Canada, we had legal barriers and restrictions that prevented us from being able to take it back. Those regulations and those impediments have now been addressed, so it is now theoretically possible to get it back, but there's still a number of questions around who will pay for it, where the financial responsibility is, where the consequences are, as this was at its origin a commercial transaction that did not involve governments. But I expressed to President Duterte and have the assurance of my officials both here in the Philippines and back in Canada that we will continue to work on this and hopefully resolve this situation.
Last question.
Hang on, I'll just answer that one in French. Aux origines du défi au niveau des déchets qui sont ici aux Philippines d'origine canadienne, c'est un enjeu entre deux compagnies, ou une compagnie privée, et donc ça n'impliquait pas dès l'origine les gouvernements. Mais quand il est maintenant question de rapatrier ces déchets au Canada, on s'est rendu compte qu'il y a des blocages légaux qui empêchaient le Canada de reprendre ou d'accepter de reprendre ses propres déchets une fois qu'il s'était rendu outre-mer. Nous avons trouvé des façons de permettre, au moins théoriquement, de reprendre ces déchets, mais là, il y a une question de comment ça va se faire et à qui la responsabilité de payer pour ça. Comme c'était une affaire de corporation privée, le gouvernement n'a pas la responsabilité directe, mais nous, comme je l'ai dit au président Duterte, nous prenons très au sérieux notre responsabilité de contribuer à une solution et nous travaillons ensemble là-dessus.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. I'm Ayi Makaraig from Agence France Presse. You mentioned you raised the issue of extrajudicial killings with President Duterte. Could you tell us what actions is Canada calling on the Philippines to do to address these allegations? And secondly, human rights groups have expressed concern about the declining state of human rights in Southeast Asia, from the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar, the crackdown on civil rights in Cambodia and Vietnam, to the allegations of killings in the drug war. Do you think the issue of human rights should be discussed at length and in depth more in ASEAN? Thank you.
Canada is a country that always brings up human rights issues and strongly engages in line with our values everywhere around the world. Countries around the world have learned to accept that and expect it even of Canada, even as we engage constructively on other ways in economics and trade in benefits for our peoples. Countries around the world know that when you engage with Canada, you will hear about human rights concerns. And we are the first to mention that we are not perfect either, that Indigenous peoples in Canada have suffered neglect, marginalization, and mistreatment for decades, if not centuries, indeed centuries. So we know that talking about human rights is an essential part of a path forward. It has to be done in an honest and frank way, but it has to be done. We have to talk about the high expectations we must have to protect life, to uphold the rule of law and human rights. We know that there is always more work to do, and Canada inevitably offers support and help, both through our own experiences and where we have failed and where we have succeeded, but also in our institutions, whether it's our justice system, whether it's around policing, whether it's around governance. These are things that Canada can sometimes share best practices and help countries move along in a way that creates opportunity, security, stability for all its citizens. I had extended conversation with the State Councillor of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, about the plight of the Muslim refugees in Rakhine State. This is of tremendous concern to Canada and many, many other countries around the world. And again, we're always looking at not how we can sort of shake our finger and yell at people, but how we can help, how we can move forward in a way that reduces violence, that emphasizes the rule of law, and that ensures protection for all citizens. As I mentioned to President Duterte, we are concerned with human rights, with the extrajudicial killings, impressed upon him the need for respect for the rule of law, and as always, offered Canada's support and help as a friend to help move forward on what is a real challenge. This is the way we engage with the world. This is the way we always will.
En français, mais juste sur la dernière partie, là, sur le président des Philippines.
Ce que j'ai dit au président des Philippines, c'est que je suis préoccupé, évidemment, par les droits humains, par la situation de meurtre extrajudiciaire, mais nous allons évidemment travailler avec les Philippines s'ils veulent et s'ils ont besoin de notre appui, comme on le fait partout dans le monde. Nous avions nos propres expériences au niveau des droits humains qu'on a encore à travailler. Il n'y a personne qui est parfait là-dedans. Et je lui ai, comme il le sait, proposé d'être là s'ils ont besoin de nous ou s'ils veulent de nous. C'est le rôle que le Canada joue partout dans le monde. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. What a pleasure to see you all. What a pleasure to be back here in the Philippines. Thank you very much, everyone.